You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss, alongside Ulises Sambrano, who will be joining us later on in the program. We are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every single day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays, and email us anytime, lockedonrays@gmail.com. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB, LOCKEDON for a first deposit match up to $100. The Rays win, the Rays win, the Rays win. How they won, amazing, miraculous, and wild and crazy. Because if you asked me, really, the moment that Chris Devenski was brought in a tie ball game, 1-1, and proceeds to walk three dudes, give up a homer, allow 2 runs, throw 43 pitches, a laboring 43 pitches. Why you bring him in a high leverage, that's what I qualify as a high leverage situation, I will never know, because his ERA is looking like a credit score. And I know that, he had put forth a good outing against the Cubs. I know the Mariners don't have a very good offense this year. Maybe you're trying to work up and build his confidence, but there is pretty much everyone and anyone else that I would like to have put in that situation, that luckily the Rays and their offense and Pete Fairbanks and Phil Maton was able to save Kevin Cash's bacon, because I really only want to see Chris Devenski in a blowout game. Low leverage situation. If you're winning 10-3 or losing 10-3, that's the time to roll out Chris Devenski, let alone giving up that home run to Mitch Garver on a 4-seam fastball. Teams against Chris Devenski this year are slugging .917 against that pitch. No bueno. I don't want to make this an episode that hammers on Chris Devenski and Kevin Cash's decision to utilize Chris Devenski. I'm sure Ulises will touch on that later on in the episode, but it's like, why would you do something like that? Chris Devenski's only redeeming quality is that changeup of his, and you can't throw it 100% of the time because guys will figure out how to deploy against it. So if you feel like you are forced to put Chris Devenski out in a situation like this, to me, and the Rays are 39-40 right now, inching back closer to 500, and maybe after this series or maybe after this weekend, they are above 500 in what seems like forever now. The priority, we know about offense, but you also better make sure that you have another competent bullpen arm or two if you really have visions and ideations of making a deep playoff run. Because Chris Devenski in the regular season, in the playoffs, in a close game, he's not it. He's not the guy to utilize. He didn't even get through an inning. 2/3 of an inning, 43 pitches. That is unacceptable. But it should be a happy day because the Rays put forth a comeback win, their 22nd of the season, which is a very difficult thing to do against the Mariners, who are now 45-36. It was just the second game this season that the Mariners lost when leading after 7 innings. That underscores how good their pitching staff is. Not only their starters, but their bullpen. Basically, to summarize, if the Mariners have a lead going into the 7th inning, they're not losing that ball game, or at least they've shown that, 45 times this year, give or take, or whatever the exact numbers are. But thankfully, thankfully, the Rays had the gumption and the not give up mentality to pull out a win. And it all came in the bottom of the eighth with a much needed rally. What Ben Rortvedt did, what Taylor Walls did. A lot of credit has to go to Jose Caballero for drawing an 8-pitch walk. And I think that was the smartest, most unselfish move for Caballero at that moment. Really, the idea for him in the team should be do whatever you have to do to get on base to turn the lineup over to Yandy Diaz. I would much rather see a a ball hit by Yandy Diaz at this juncture than Jose Caballero or anybody else in the bottom of the order. And that's exactly what we saw as Yandy Diaz slaps, what was the pitch? 99, 100 miles per hour. He slaps it past the first baseman for a 2-run single that sealed the Rays 4-3 win. And we mentioned it on Monday's show. We've mentioned it previously. Yandy is heating up at the perfect moment. He's got an amazing on-base streak, an amazing hit streak. He is really doing damage. And I wonder, with what Yandy Diaz put forth, if that was by design, because we've been critical of Yandy for hitting the ball too much into the ground and not elevating the ball. But in a situation like that, with runners on base, 2 outs, you almost want to put pressure on the defense and hit a ball hard to the defense. And that's exactly what he did. It might have been sort of a scouting report of let's try to eat up and take advantage of Ty France at first base. Because if you remember early in the game, Yandy had a base hit basically mirrored of what he did in the 8th inning, where it was a tough to handle chopper that got the best of Ty France. And Ty France, for his entire career, go and look at the numbers. He is a negative defender. He's a negative defender this year. He's been a negative defender all throughout the course of his career. And I know we don't want to put too much weight or all the weight on defensive metrics, but it's not good. You'd much rather hit a ball his way and force him to make a play than force the Mariners' second baseman or third baseman or shortstop to make a play, or hit a line drive or fly ball into the outfield that could be caught. So that was amazing, amazing, amazing what Yandy Diaz was able to do, where you basically hit a 102 mile per hour chopper. And we know how the ball does quirky things on the Trop turf, and it gets by Ty France. So just breathe a sigh of relief for the Rays being able to come back and get the victory. And hopefully they can build momentum the rest of this series and going forward. Good things are going on right now. You hope that you don't have to get into many more situations like this of having to play from behind and play catch up in the 8th inning or the 9th inning. You would like more of your games to be oil paintings where you have a multiple inning lead and you can go and sit back easy and win a game. But that's baseball. Sometimes you have to find a way to pull out a victory, and that's exactly what the Rays did. So credit to a lot of guys on the squad in yesterday's game. I'm sure, again, Ulises will touch on it. The outing that Taj Bradley put forth, what Pete Fairbanks was able to do closing the game, Jose Caballero, Ben Rortvedt, Yandy Diaz, Phil Maton. Credit to a lot of the guys there that pick things up. Jose Siri as well. And maybe again, this might be the start of something good for the Rays. Are the Rays completely back? That remains to be seen. We've had games like this, and then we get let down later on. But maybe this is something that really spurs them going in throughout the rest of the month. So just wanted to throw that out there. And we just need this team, this offense, this pitching staff to stay as hot as possible. All right. We will have more coming up on this episode from Ulises Sambrano. But first, here at the Locked On Rays podcast, we pride ourselves on getting you the latest news for your team, whether it's the offseason, the draft, spring training, or the playoffs. It's year-round. You know what else is year-round? Collection season. Just because tax season is over does not mean the IRS will stop coming after you for those unfiled taxes. The IRS can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. Don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. With over 14 years of experience and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. So whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay this season and need help correctly filing, call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/locked on. You can also see the link in this episode description below. I'll repeat it again. Call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/locked on. Order supplies from the website that's made for the skilled trades. Find thousands of parts from hundreds of brands in just a couple clicks at supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com gives you 24/7 access to a huge selection of plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with fast delivery anywhere in the U.S. Need help with an order? Well, get industry-leading after-sales service from their friendly and knowledgeable customer support team and talk to a real person every time. That's great news for plumbers, technicians, and contractors. Being a pro has its perks. Trade industry professionals can join their free Trade Master program for free shipping and serious discounts on every single order. Over 100,000 pros already trust the Trade Master program to deliver results. Apply for your membership today and get a competitive edge on every order at supplyhouse.com/TM. Save money and time when you order online. Order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service.
What a way to start your week, huh, Rays fans? That was an exciting game. Like Kevin said, so many little things had to go right in that 8th inning to make it a comeback victory. Oh, how about that walk by Taylor Walls? How about that walk by Caballero to set that up? Rortvedt, who really has been such a key cog in this very flimsy offense and not getting a lot from the backstop, but he has been just a surprise, considering the fact that he joined the team 2 days before opening day. It was really something to watch it all kind of unfold, that 8th inning. Now, I will say, as fun as that is, I am hopeful that this team is going to keep it going, because we have had so many times this season where something really great happens and then 2 steps back, and then something really good happens and then 3 steps back, and then something good happens and then something good happens and then 2 steps back. So it's been that seesaw kind of relationship with the season that we just gotta hope that this is it. Yandy Diaz keeps getting hot, man. Tash Bradley, amazing. Pete Fairbanks, so good to see him be back from the IL and dominate like we have seen him before. So there were definitely positives that we can take away from that. But if there's one thing that is really just eating at me for more than a year now, has been Chris Devenski. I said it during the playoffs. that was a Kevin Crush moment, putting him in the most high leverage situation that we had in that wild card game. I have really never liked the peripherals. I know people were like, but the changeup is so good. Yeah, but the results ain't, and they haven't. And I know I did this, comparison earlier in the season, and I'll put it up again. Remember Heath Bell when he was DFA'd and he was owed $4 million and the Rays did it anyway? Why is Chris Devenski still on the team? You cannot tell me with a straight face that this organization, who prides themselves in creating so many pitchers and finding so many pitchers out there, you cannot tell me with a straight face that you cannot find somebody who can provide right now on June 25th, 2024, more value on the field than Chris Devenski. These numbers are just not good, no matter where you slice them. The ERA plus at 58, that's negligible to 52, by the way. All of these numbers are negligible. Like, oh, look at that. He has a better ERA than Heath Bell. Yeah, it's 675 to a 727. ERA plus 52 to 58. What are we talking about here, folks? Okay, so he whiffs a little bit more than Heath Bell, which is nice. But then again, he walks more guys too, and he did it again last night. 3 walks, home run, couldn't even get out of the inning. I cannot. If somebody from the front office with a straight face tells me, actually, yeah, Chris Devenski is our best option right now, I would not believe them. I would not believe them. There is no way that you can't have somebody with a better talent in AAA. And you can't tell me that he provides length either, because he doesn't. Again, he didn't even get out of the inning that he needed to.
All right, we got to tell you about Prize Picks. It is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active users. It is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike those other apps, Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. So all you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch those winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community today. And we have a deal for you here. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It is that easy.
It's just, I'm dumbfounded right now with the way that he has been just elevated to. Why was he doing in that 1-1 game? What was he doing? I mean, is everybody else sick in the bullpen? Like, we do not need to see him at a situation with that much leverage. You can't. But this is where the good things happen. That's when Taylor Walls does something good. That's when Jose Siri does something good. Who, by the way, parentheses here, Jose Siri has just been on fire for the last 3 weeks. Can we say 3 weeks? Let's say 3 weeks with Siri. He's been on fire. He has turned it around, and he has been playing much crisper defense. The at-bats look better. The confidence, the swag is back, and not the one where he is showing off about 2 feet before he makes the catch. You know what? That little twirly dance he did in Pittsburgh, love it. But make the catch first. Make the catch. I think that's all. I think most Rays fans are okay with that. Like, you do whatever you want, just make the out. I don't think there are Rays fans that are like, oh, I really don't like that. And if there are, be a little bit happier. Touch some grass out there. It's fine. It's a kid's game. that we watch. Okay. And that some of us let our emotions run wild watching a game. So let's keep perspective here. So yeah, he's getting paid millions or close to millions of dollars to play a game. Yeah, dance it off. Dance it off. But make the play. Make the out. And he did. And he has been playing so much better. And that is such good news for the race team, for this race team. Like, I've talked about Josh Lowe getting hot at the right time on yesterday's episode. Yandy Diaz seems to be getting it turned around. Randy Rosarena has had a very good June in comparison to his April and May. I know Pepio had a tough time in Pittsburgh, but Taj Bradley Tash Bradley yesterday was able to provide quality innings for this team. I think when it's all said and done, it does feel like slowly but surely this team is catching on fire. Is it too late for them to make a splash in the AL East? I think the division is out of reach, but the wild card sure as heck isn't. There's plenty of baseball to make that wild card run, and before you get to the trade deadline, and there are 4 to 5 games in there within it, I think you could see this team not being blown to pieces. Talked about Zach Eflin and how that could be something that the Rays could potentially deal for a position that they lack a lot of offensive production, which is the catching position. But, I don't think Eflin is going to just warrant that just by himself. But great Monday evening game. That was exciting. Today's game, it'll be Luis Castillo, La Piedra, against Zach Littell. Now, good news is that even though it's not too many at-bats, Josh Lowe hitting 286 with a 661 OPS. Randy has a homer and is batting 286 in 1158 against Castillo. Isak is hitting 250 with an 875 OPS. So some healthy numbers there. And what about Ahmed Rosario? He's definitely getting a start. In 20 at-bats, he has a home run, 3 RBI. He's hitting 350 with 1,009 OPS. So guess what? Let's see. Let's wait for an Ahmed Rosario game. Maybe. He's a little bit hurt. But if he does get in there, it would be pretty cool to see him face Luis Castillo. And on the other side, the Mariners do not have that many at-bats with Zach Littell. But one guy that does have more than 3 at-bats, Rally, is hitting 333 with a 666 OPS. So Cal Riley, we need to silence that guy because boy, he's a damn good catcher, isn't he? Things that you wish that maybe our team had. But drop it down in the comments what you think of the opening game against the Seattle Mariners. It was very exciting. Good things happened. A lot of head scratching moves there with Devenski at a 1-1 game. But regardless, a win is a win is a win, as Kevin Weiss would say. And hopefully that got you guys a little bit happy to start the week. I know it definitely did for me and Kevin, who, by the way, we should be recording Wednesday's episode together. So maybe we are going to have to possibly see these split episodes, these bulk and closer opener and bulk guy type episodes, just due to big boy jobs and scheduling conflicts. But I hope you still enjoy the episodes. Obviously, we would rather do them together, but sometimes life gets in the way of fun things like this podcast. So thank you guys for watching and listening to the Locked On Rays podcast. We appreciate it. It means a lot. If you haven't yet, hit that like button. Let's see who should say. You know what? I talked about Siri today. Hit that like button. Siri is asking you to hit that like button right now. It would make him happy. And we all enjoy when Jose Siri is having fun out there and making the catches. Thank you guys so much. We will see you tomorrow. Stay safe. And till Wednesday.